Welcome to Own the P&L, the podcast that makes small business finance simple for non-finance leaders. Hosted by John Marshall, CEO of Series Next Solutions. This show is built for COOs and integrators who want real financial clarity and control. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Own the P&L. A Just Me episode today. Short, sweet nuggets on finance and accounting, that finance seat for people who are looking for some advice on finance and accounting because maybe they haven't done it before. So if you're sitting out there in the COO seat, I want to talk to you today about CFOs and different kinds of CFOs who may come to work for your organization, be it full-time or fractional. So you can kind of have in your mind as you work with your CEO, your visionary, your business owner, whatever you call them, what they might be looking for and how you might move your own finance function up the hierarchy of finance needs. So we'll review that in a second. But I want to start by just talking about when hiring finance is even appropriate. It may be a heresy to hear a finance person say this, but we don't come first. Your business has to solve sales and it has to solve execution to the point at which you're actually able to grow your company and see what you're doing before you really should be getting into finance and accounting. The only caveat there is if you're a startup that's got investors and you're trying to essentially build your chassis before you have all the fuel that is sales running through it. That's a different deal, different episode, different day. For now, I would think of sales as the fuel and operations as the engine. Finance is more like the oil. Okay? Do you need oil for your engine? Do you need lubricant? Absolutely. Can it run without it? A little bit, but it can't run at all without gas, and you can't move a car without an engine. Long story short, if somebody comes to me and they're in real financial trouble as a business, it is almost always because they have a sales problem or an execution problem, and finance is just a symptom. So I really want you to think about in your organization, if you have your limited resources, order of operations, get sales solved, get operations solved. Finance, while it can't grow your organization on its own, is absolutely critical element to giving you confidence because you can see the future, right? Helping you understand things better. It's a growth driver, just not a growth starter. All right, but let's say you're there, you're ready. We need to invest in finance and accounting. We have reason to do it. Let's look at that pyramid again, because who you hire and what kind of person you hire is dependent on where you're going on that pyramid and maybe just interpersonally what people in your organization are looking for. So quick review of the pyramid. Level 1 is bookkeeping gets done. You got the numbers going on a page. Level 2 is accurate and consistent financials. We're still in the backwards looking accounting world, but now we're doing monthly closes. Our balance sheet is right and we know what's on there. Our financial statements are organized in a way that tells us useful information just on its own. That's level 2. All right, let's move to level 3. Projections predict the future. That's what it sounds like. You have a projections file. It's updated regularly. You're working against it. 4, finance in your operational terms. Yeah, that's when we're getting to, hey, I know that I need this many widgets this month, not I know I want to make this revenue number this month. It's sort of like when you start thinking in the foreign language you're learning, that's finance in your operational terms. Then we get to strategic finance, level 5, the top of the pyramid. Now you've got a fully mature, outward-facing finance department that, and we'll talk about a C-suite CFO is really operating investors, bankers, potential acquisition targets. These are constituents when you're at that level. So coming all the way back down, just think about your own organization. Where are you today? Are you just getting the numbers on the page and not really using your financials every month? Do you know what's on your balance sheet? That would be level 1. All right. Level 2 is, no, we have decent financial statements. We're able to review them at the end of the month. We understand what our fixed costs are. We kind of understand what our margins are and can tell based on how things are going, in the middle of the month, where it's going to be. Great, you're level 2. Level 3, 4, and 5 are kind of more obvious. So let's talk about 3 different kinds of CFOs then. Finally, the main event. If you are really needing to shore up your accounting function to really get those financial statements to sing right so you can use them, this is really the realm of what I call the CPA CFO. I call them that because typically they are CPAs. Their background is in accounting, whether it's audit or tax or preparation. They're the ones whose understanding of your financial statements themselves and the impact of the things that you do directly on them right now is unmatched.
They understand how your processes for putting information into your books impact what's going to come out on the back end, right? So if you kind of have some of that shoring up that needs to be done, there's really two ways to do it. One is the CPA CFO, which really should be a yes and you'll hear as I continue. Two is just some projects, hiring an accounting group to help you upgrade your processes, fix your books, whatever. So your CPA CFO is going to do so much more than that. And frankly, they're probably not going to do the doing. They're just going to teach you anyway on that front. But they are going to keenly understand your financial statements. They're going to talk to you every month at the end of the month, once your financial statements are done, about your financial statements. They're going to really help you understand what to do right now. What are the levers to impact your financial statements? And so if you have a business owner or yourself where your preference really is, the main thing for me is the financial statements and just using those financial statements to do what we need to do in the organization, that's where you're going to work. CPA CFOs will build some projections for you, a little bit of cash flow forecasting, things like that, to help you see the future a little bit. But beyond that, you're going to start working into the realm of what we call the analyst CFO. So that analyst CFO is really going to take you from level 3 to level 4. They're going to operate in those two zones, I should say. So they'll probably take you from level 2 to level 4. Whereas the CPA CFO could come in when you're at a 1 and help you get to 3. The analyst CFO, on the other hand, if they come into your organization and your books are a mess, like it's a garbage in, garbage out situation. On their own, they're not gonna, judge your chart of accounts and build out the close process for you and figure out that you need to change your billing process to input these things because you got to take the deposits. That's not them. At SNS, we kind of solve that because we have a lot of analyst CFOs in what we do. We have an accountant that will pair with them to help shore that up and kind of get through some of those early things for our clients. But you should think about that in your organization, because if what you really want is the conversation to be around a forward-looking plan and how we're doing against the forward-looking plan, and the dive into your financial statements each month to be really a little bit more high level, that's the realm of more of the analyst CFO. They want and love to work in these spreadsheets and help talk about, okay, over the next 12 months, we're going to chart a path to get to this number. And what do we need to do to get to this number? You can only produce so many of these things. We got to work through that. When you get to that number, according to this projection, you're going to have to hire 10 more people. Are you ready to do that? That's really where that analyst CFO lives. They live more in the future than in the now, which on the surface might sound better to most people, but it can create problems if what you're really looking for is somebody to sit with you and be like, what do I need to press on today? Right? They're more thinking about, how do we generate the numbers that you need to make the plan that you need that we can just start measuring against? Let's just put these processes in place and get that machine running, because we want to get to finance in your operational terms. So think through that. What do you want to sit with and review every month? What does your business owner want to sit with and review every month? Because that matters. What are the issues that you really want to address? Where do you really want to go with it? Do we want to be talking about, the possible and getting to 6 months, 12 months from now? Or do we want to be talking about the tactical of, hey, this thing looks off today and you should dig into that? Each of those people can work in the other realm, but they have their bailiwicks, and that's what I'm talking about. So let's move, speaking of those, to the third group, which I call the C-suite CFO. So the C-suite CFO is typically coming in with CFO experience at a company much larger than yours if you're in the, let's say, $2 to $15 million revenue space. These guys are going to be all but allergic to accounting processes because that's not the value they're showing up to provide. You want to work with these guys when you've got a few conditions in place, one of which is your accounting is set. Like, you don't need somebody to help you close books and do those things. Like, you're solid. The numbers are coming out. What you need is somebody who can turn your finance function from an inward facing, which is everything we've been talking about until this moment, to a group that's also outward facing and is communicating with investors and is communicating with bankers and is communicating with, potential acquisition targets, people like that, thinking through how do we fund these things along the way. That's going to be more of the C-suite CFO. There are ways to pair those things along the way. By the time you get to a C-suite CFO, you've probably got a controller on your staff who's responsible for the numbers every month. And then you can mine that C-suite just for advice. That's really where you want to get to. So that's really what that relationship looks like. All right, so that's 3 different types of CFOs. I hope that helps you think about where you are on that finance hierarchy of needs today, where you might want to go, and just kind of give you a little bit of sketch of do I need that CPA background? Am I looking for more of the financial analysis background, or I'm looking for more of that corporate M&A style, talking to outsiders experience that comes from that C-suite CFO? That's all I got today. I'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to Own the P&L. If this episode helped you think differently about your numbers, share it with another operator who needs it. This podcast is all about helping COOs and integrators take ownership of their P&L, gain future financial clarity, and run their business with confidence. Be sure to subscribe. And if you want support financing your operational terms or cleaning up your accounting dumpster fire, reach out. See you next time.